Let's move up to quarterbacks.
You want to do some defense?
Yeah, this is a good question. Do you see any defensive opt-outs? He said getting traded, Daniel. I maybe cut, maybe restructured. I mean, all the types of possibilities out there. I want to focus mainly on Donta Hightower, who is due $12 million this season against the salary cap. Certainly the Patriots would like to lower that number a little bit, right? And the question is do you want to sign Hightower to an extension? Do you want to sign he's not going to take a straight pay cut. I don't think that's
right.
Why would Hightower agree to that? So I think the question is what kind of extension are you willing to do for a linebacker who's 31 years old and hasn't always been a guy, he has had some injuries in his past.
Yeah, I think maybe 1 year, right? You spread the money out. I wouldn't look much beyond that. He also might want to retire. He may know this is his last season and he won't take an extension. So that's going to be tricky, but I think they'll figure out a way to get him back. I think Chung is back for sure. When I look at, the opt-outs maybe being moved, I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball. Like, is Matt LaCosse going to be a roster lock? Probably not. What happens with Marcus Cannon? They have some good young tackles. If he's taking a step back, is he a guy who could be a cap casualty? How does Danny Vitale fit in the picture with them drafting Dalton Keene? So I think defensively is where they were. And I apologize if I'm missing anybody, but the big ones were Hightower, Chung, on the defensive side of the ball, right?
Yes, Hightower and Chung. Really, the rest of them were offense.
Right. I feel like there's a third. I don't know who it would be.
I don't think there was, unless we're both playing.
Maybe I might be thinking of like Brandon Bolden defensively just because special teams. But I think that conversation is more on the offensive side of the ball. They really missed Hightower and Chung last year, especially Hightower. They don't have Hightower's replacement in the room yet. Maybe that gets solved during the draft. But even if it does, when they brought Hightower in, right, they did it to replace Gerard Mayo, and they made sure those guys had a year, 2 years together. I think you're going to see something similar here. So I think on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to see those opt-outs come back.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Hightower has basically made it clear that he wants to come back. Patrick Chung has said publicly that he is coming back. So yes. Patrick Chung will be back. That contract's interesting too, but they just signed him to that extension. It's really hard to kind of rework Patrick Chung's deal at this point. So they're kind of stuck with him at that number. I don't know if they're necessarily thrilled about that in hindsight, especially with the way that Kyle Duggar ended up playing last year. That's an interesting player as well. I don't even think they can cut him due to the dead money on the deal is really not going to save him much in the cap anyways. So that's an interesting one. Hightower, I remember I got into some arguments on Twitter about his cap number. You don't want to upset him too much because when you look at the linebacker play that they had last year and how much of an upgrade he is over guys like Terez Hall and Juwan Bentley, and he's such a big upgrade that you definitely want to keep him in the building. But I think an extension, Miguel Benzon, Pat's cap, he's thrown out like a 3 or 4 year extension with some dummy years, maybe tacked on there, or years without guaranteed money so you can get out of it after a year or two. That just spaces out the cap hits. I think that's a good way to go about it.